Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. Not giving property details will cost government employees in Uttar Pradesh heavily. They may not get their salary for August. This is the latest from the Yogi Adityanath-led BJP government in Uttar Pradesh. Now, the Yogi Adityanath government of Uttar Pradesh has ordered to give details of movable and immovable properties of government employees working across the state on the Manav Sampada portal before the 31st of August. Till now, only 26% have given information about their properties. Chief Secretary of Uttar Pradesh, Manoj Kumar Singh, has said that those failing to do so will not be given salaries for the month of August. At present, there are over 17 lakh government employees in Uttar Pradesh. Remember that after the IAS and the PCS working in the state government, it has also become mandatory for all categories of officers and employees of the government to give online details of their properties. Now, this is not a new order, but of course a stringent follow-up for sure, and this is being seen as that, as government employees have been asked to strictly submit their details by the end of this month. Now, initially the last date was on 30th of June. The date was extended, but even in the month of August, only 74% of employees had not given their information. Only about 26% had given their information. This is what my colleague Tanishq, who reports from Lucknow, had said. Now, is this a much needed cleanup? Is this a probity move that needs to be emulated nationwide, or is this a political stunt? That is what we will try and understand tonight. We will be, of course, joined by a panel of experts. But for now, joining me is Uttar Pradesh's Social Welfare Minister, Asim Arun. Thank you very much, Mr. Asim Arun, for speaking to NDTV. My first question to you, sir, how do you see this government order asking all government employees to declare their properties? Do you think this is something that needs to be emulated nationwide?
Yogi ji, since the last 7.5 years, has been working very hard towards curbing corruption. Several steps have been taken. This is one more step in that direction. Now, this is not a new rule where government officers, government servants are supposed to declare their property through an annual property return, or any kind of new acquisition of property over a certain limit has to be informed to the government. Since a large number of government servants are not complying with that, the government has had to take serious decision. We have clamped down on the possibilities of people not declaring their assets. So in times to come, we will come down more heavily on people who are not declaring their assets. And as a result, I'm sure there'll be more probity among government officers of all levels.
Mr. Arun, many people have also called this duplication of existing laws and procedures because people anyway file income tax returns. This is essentially asking government officials to do the same work twice. And about the concerns of benefits going to family members, say a bureaucrat buying a plot of land and, in the name of his son-in-law or daughter-in-law or even wife, there could be new clauses added to existing laws.
No, this is not duplication at all, because this is a different principle here. The government needs to know what kind of assets I as an officer have, or my family has acquired, or my other blood relatives have acquired. Because the government needs to keep track of whether a government servant is spending beyond his or her means. And this is one method of doing that. So the income tax return is only for the individual. It is not for the entire family. Here it is for the dependent family members, blood relatives, and it's not for every small thing that you buy. These are very practical rules. If you're acquiring property in terms of, let's say, a flat or a building, or if you're acquiring a car, something beyond a particular limit, I'm not exactly sure what the limit is now, but we need to report that to the government. It's perfectly all right. It's a perfect arrangement. It was not working well because we were not clamping down fully on this. Now we've taken a decision that we will not allow any government servant to not declare their assets and yet continue to work or draw the salary.
But Mr. Asim Arun, there is also a lot of discussion around the Lok Sabha election results of 2024, where the BJP faced a setback in UP. And one of the issues that was repeatedly pointed out is that the administration there is predominantly influential, prashasan bhari hai, havi hai. Is this also an attempt by the Chief Minister to project himself as someone who's equally strict on bureaucrats when it comes to crime or corruption?
I don't think that's the point. The point is that our government under Yogi Adityanath ji, Honorable CM, we are extremely serious about both good governance and curbing corruption. These are two sides of the same coin. So we have to bring in more efficiency in the system. We have to bring in more accountability to the system. Accountability not just of government officers, but ministers, MLAs like me as well. So we are doing both. When we talk about probity, when we talk about vanity in social life, in public life, we cannot pick and choose in terms of individuals or in terms of group of individuals. We are equally strict about elected individuals. We are equally strict about people who have come through an exam or through an outsourcing process or any other process, whether the bureaucracy or the democracy, both have to be very clean about the dealings.
So you've also been an IPS officer before you entered politics, became a minister. Do you think such moves will be welcomed wholeheartedly by government officials? Because this is a section of the society that doesn't really voice its opinions. Is there a possibility of a backlash? Is there those concerns as well? Because, you know, you're asking a large number of people to also, and these are powerful people, and you're asking them to upload their details, very sensitive details on a portal. Are you concerned that there could be a backlash?
My personal view as a anti-corruption activist, as an anti-corruption champion, would be that this is extremely important. There's nothing new in this. We are just enforcing the rule as strictly as it deserves to be. Whether the government servants will like it or not, there is no choice in this matter. As a government servant, as a minister, I declare my assets. When I step into the election, I declare everything. I declare even my saving bank accounts, including number and what is the amount there is in my account. So this kind of probity is extremely important. It's not a matter of choice. People have to follow. Whether, I mean, the question is how many government servants will like it, how many will not like it. A very large number of government servants are honest. They want to do their job efficiently. They will like it, I'm sure. And those who do not like it have something to hide. At the same time, there should be a safeguard on this. This question came up earlier as well. When we acquire this kind of information as government, should we publish it on a public platform or not? I believe privacy is important. So publishing addresses, PAN numbers, Aadhaar card, etc. would not be right. It can be misused and it should not be on a public platform. That is one safeguard which should be very seriously applied.
Right. Mr. Arun, also politically, do you think that this will strengthen the Chief Minister's image as a tough administrator? Because there is a lot of buzz about who really is accountable for the BJP's setback in 2024 poll results.
This is not about politics. This is about good governance. And under Yogi 1.0, if I may use the term, Yogi ji acquired so much of public goodwill that he was returned as the CM of UP second time. And the major output which the government gave was one, law and order, and second, crackdown on corruption. So the crackdown on corruption is a continuous exercise. Now we are taking it to the next higher level, bringing in more accountability and checking corruption through regular invitation of information from citizens. For example, in my constituency or my district, Kannauj, virtually every third day I'm getting complaints of corruption with substantiated proof. So this corruption had been there for a very, very long time. Now that we've decided to clean it up, lock, stock and barrel, the citizens are coming forward, making complaints with proof, and we are responding to it with serious, in all earnestness, and bringing such accused people, corrupt people to book.
Thank you, Mr. Asim Arun, for joining us on NDTV and sharing your insights. Also joining me now is Ghanshyam Tiwari of the Samajwadi Party. We have Rajesh Chaudhary of the BJP. Sharat Pradhan, a senior journalist, also joins us. Thank you all of you for joining me on this show. To you, Ghanshyam Tiwari, first, you heard what the minister had to say. Your party has been vocal in its criticism of something like this, calling it a diversionary technique. You've said that the government is on the back foot. But sir, even if it's for optics, if there is a movement for transparency, what is the problem in that? And this is an order which has also come before 2010.
Good evening, Vasudha, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. The point is optics. So on the show, the minister says that the chief minister is absolutely focused on law and order. But when you look at the ADR report, it says 111 out of the 255 winning candidates from BJP have criminal charges. A lot that have serious criminal charges. 90 have serious criminal charges. This is the party that does everything for optics because they have a huge, they collected 13,000 crores in 10 years from electoral bonds without, and other sources. And they went to the Supreme Court saying that we don't want to tell the people. So this is a party, at one level, it operates on optics when it wants to tell the entire world that they are above board, they are saints, and they indulge in no crime and no corruption, they are strong. But internally, they know that every one of them is hand in glove with all kinds of crime and corruption that comes to the fore. I have the Caravan magazine that talks about the loot in Ayodhya on land. If the Yogi government is so serious and they came up with the diktat, then why has the diktat not been acted upon for nearly 1 year? Why only 25% have submitted? And finally, in the day and age of big data, where too many things are linked to Aadhaar, it is not too difficult to piece this information set together, that who is in government, what is their role, what is the property that they have, what is the bank account they have, even what are the car numbers that they have. It is relatively easy. The data will do it for you in a week. So the idea is this can be done. It is not done. It will not be done because BJP is hand in glove with a lot of crime and a lot of corruption that is visible from various expose. And it can be done by technology, but they are just announcing it and will continue to announce it just because they can pursue the optics of it.
Okay.
And people of Uttar Pradesh have voted to show that the tamasha of optics is over.
Rajesh Chaudhary from the BJP also joins us. Rajesh ji, ऑपोजिशन का कहना है, विपक्ष का कहना है कि ये सिर्फ ऑप्टिक्स की बात है, पॉलिटिकल प्रोपेगेंडा या स्टंट है, क्योंकि ये सारी चीज़ें तो वैसे भी हम जब इनकम टैक्स फाइल करते हैं तो देनी पड़ती है. और आप इस मूव को किस तरह देखते हैं सर? क्या इसमें एक पॉलिटिकल मैसेजिंग भी है योगी आदित्यनाथ की तरफ से?
देखिए, समाजवादी पार्टी के इतिहास की हम बात करें तो भ्रष्टाचार के माँ बाप तो समाजवादी पार्टी के लोग ही रहे, जिन्होंने उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता की गाड़ी कमाई को लूटने का काम किया है. जहां तक इस प्रश्न की बात है तो मैं कहना चाहूंगा, जीरो टॉलरेंस की जो हमारी नीति है उस पर हम कायम है, उस पर हम काम कर रहे हैं. आज देखिए कि इतने बड़े बड़े ओहदों पे लोग बैठे रहते हैं, चाहे वो सरकारी अधिकारी होंगे या पॉलिटिकल लोग होंगे, उन्हें अपने जीवन में पारदर्शिता रखनी ही होगी. किसी अच्छे पोस्ट पे आने के बाद मेरी संपत्ति की क्या स्थिति है, मैंने कितना कमाया, मेरी पत्नी के नाम कितना है, मेरे बेटों के नाम कितना है, कितना मेरे रिश्तेदारों के नाम है, ये तो डिक्लेयर करना होगा जी. नहीं तो आप देख रहे हो किस तरह से इन्हीं के शासन में अखंड प्रताप सिंह जी सैकड़ों करोड़ का घोटाला करके और क्या हालत हुई थी. आज उनकी पार्टी के नेता हैं, उनके वंशज. तो ये इनका इतिहास हो सकता है, हमारा नहीं है. हम पहले से इस बात को कहते रहे, योगी जी ने पहले से इस बात को कहा था कि हम भ्रष्टाचार से किसी भी तरह का समझौता, किसी तरह का कंप्रोमाइज नहीं करेंगे. उसी नीति के तहत हर व्यक्ति को अपनी प्रॉपर्टी घोषित करनी होगी. हम सब सार्वजनिक जीवन में हमें पारदर्शिता अपने जीवन में भी रखनी होगी. इसी नीति को लेकर के हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं.
Okay, Sharad Pradhan ji, how do you see this move, sir? Is it also an attempt by Yogi Adityanath to counter all these allegations against him? Because amongst all, several other people, is also being held responsible for the BJP not, in fact, losing some of the gains that the party made politically, socially in the last few decades. I mean, last few years actually. How do you see this move? Is this also resistance on his side to not really get boxed into that Hindutva image and showcase himself as an able administrator who does not even leave bureaucrats, who are corrupt?
Well, what you said earlier, a little while ago, was actually hitting the nail on the head. That Yogi Adityanath is doing all this only to cover up this allegation that bureaucracy is dominating in the state. The fact of the matter is that corruption in all governments goes on rising. And this is from the horse's mouth, from people very close to Yogi Adityanath. I've written a book on him, published by Penguin, and I mentioned in that book how Yogi Adityanath has come as a chief minister, as an honest chief minister after many years. But I have no shame in confessing that that is not true. It was true when he had taken over. But gradually, some bureaucrats who were extremely close to him, they knew how to, bureaucrats are very good at corrupting good people also. So there have been many allegations, and some of them may be true. Nobody has probed them, how money is going. And even people close to him, bureaucrats I'm saying, they have admitted in as many words that the rate, one day I mentioned to one officer that you have been, I also wrote that the UP chief minister is an honest man, but the way corruption is rising. You know what he said? He said, well, this is not for publication, but I am told that the rates have increased. That is the hard truth. And Yogi Adityanath is not able to do anything about it, or he doesn't want to do anything about it. I fail to understand why. Because there are blatant, filing returns in this manner, declaring property. This is a routine arrangement with every bureaucrat is supposed to be doing.
Right.
To be re-emphasizing on that only shows that you are trying to make your brownie points. What needs to be done is, under the Prevention of Corruption Act, there is ample provision to identify people on the basis of their visible assets, which are far beyond their legitimate means of income. And there are a number of bureaucrats in the ruling dispensation who the whole world knows that their assets are blatantly visible, far, far beyond. And for instance, there is a department of this Jal Shakti mission, which has a provision of some 70,000 crores. And the top officer there is known to be the most corrupt bureaucrat in the state. Nobody does anything about it. There are other departments of industries where blatantly corruption is going on. And what to say? Now the deputy chief minister has gone on record in an official meeting, Keshav Prasad Maurya, to say that the government, this is one of the most corrupt governments. Two of the BJP MLAs have gone on record to say this. There are Moti Singh and R.C. Mishra, the MLAs of the party. And then even on law and order, which also happens to be Yogi's USP, so he claims, the deputy chief minister has gone on record to say that law and order is at its worst. So publicity, there is a lot. And you know, the kind of money that this government spends on publicity, it comes to about 4 crores a day. It is 1,600 crores at the annual budget. So you can imagine, you are drowning people and bombarding people with lies and half-truths. And you start believing yourself that all that is truth, which is not. So if he were to actually take on corruption, which one really hoped when he took over that he will get UP, rid UP of corruption, but unfortunately that is not the case.
Okay, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, you heard what Mr. Pradhan said and what Rajesh Chaudhary also said. But if you were to come to power, sir, because Samajwadi Party has performed really well this time, if you were to come to power in the future, what would you do about corrupt bureaucrats? Because as a journalist, I have seen, there are bureaucrats who make money for 7 generations. So like Mr. Pradhan was saying, this is a problem that has existed. How would you bring in some sense of transparency? Because whatever Yogi Adityanath has issued, it could be optics, it could be anything, but still it's a move that makes you think that there is a certain accountability that's necessary.
I think accountability is the basis of a strong democracy, and accountability does not emerge from diktats and bulldozers and terrorizing people. It emerges from ensuring that the press flourishes, that corruption is exposed when somebody as senior as Sharad Pradhanji says that an ex-official is corrupt and a press report comes on that. It is not that the journalist is jailed. It is a fact that the government chooses to investigate, and then the civil society acts. Unless the press is free, civil society is free, and this mode of terrorizing and bulldozing is off, you will not be able to root out corruption. That's number one. Number two is there's enough data that is available. People should worry that the kind of data imprint that they already have, who owns what flats, what land, what is their bank account, what is the inflow, outflow of their UPI, their credit card, debit card, all this is available, and their family. So there are big data companies that already do this, and they work with the income tax department and various departments. All you have to do is ensure that you don't operate in a way that there is a large room for Bharatiya Janata Party and everybody else has a gun pointed to their head. The moment you start making ED, CBI, IT a political tool, the Bajrang Dal of your government, rather than them serving the purpose they're supposed to serve, then you have made the government dysfunctional. We want a democracy which is functional, which is not terrorized, where the agencies do their job, and politicians or bureaucrats or other government officials must be afraid that there is too many eyes on us for us to indulge in any wrongdoing.
राजेश चौधरी, जो ये बार बार हम बात सुनते हैं कि यूपी की सरकार में प्रशासन हावी है, इसमें कितनी सच्चाई है सर? और जैसे शरद प्रधान जी भी कह रहे थे कि काफ़ी एमएलएज हों या पार्टी वर्कर्स ने भी कहा है कि करप्शन तो चलता रहता है, यूपी बड़ा स्टेट है, तो क्या ये एक करेक्टिव मेजर है, एक सुधार करने की कोशिश की है योगी आदित्यनाथ ने ऐसे मूव के साथ?
देखिए, उत्तर प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार आने से पहले नंबर बाई नंबर सपा बसपा की सरकार रही, और दोनों की वर्किंग को पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता और देश की जनता जानती है किस तरह से भ्रष्टाचार रग रग में यूपी की में समाया हुआ था। योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के आने के बाद हमने सुधार करना कोशिश की, और पूरे 5 साल के अंदर में दावे के साथ कहता हूँ, ये कोई आरोप सरकार के ऊपर नहीं लगा, कोई ऐसी घटनाक्रम नहीं हुआ जहां सरकारी भ्रष्टाचार उजागर हुआ होगा। और ब्यूरोक्रेसी हावी है या सरकार हावी है, इसको आप बांट करके नहीं दे सकते। ब्यूरोक्रेसी हावी की बात तब कर सकते हैं जब सरकार के द्वारा किए हुए निर्णयों को ब्यूरोक्रेसी नहीं मान रही हो। उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी, उनका अपना एक मंत्रिमंडल है। मंत्रिमंडल जो निर्णय करता है, सरकार जो निर्णय करती है, उसका क्रियान्वयन करना कार्यपालिका का काम है। आप कोई एक ऐसा निर्णय बताइए जो सरकार ने तय किया और कार्यपालिका ने नहीं माना हो, तब तो माने भाई, तो सरकार की भी बात ब्यूरोक्रेसी नहीं मान रही है। तो केवल अपने किए हुए पुराने कुकर्मों को छुपाने के लिए ये इस तरह की बातें करते हैं। इनको तो स्वागत करना चाहिए सरकार के इस निर्णय का। हम बात कर रहे हैं भ्रष्टाचार मिटाने की, और मैं दावे के साथ कहता हूँ, चाहे वो नरेंद्र मोदी जी की 10 साल की सरकार होगी, चाहे 7.5 साल की योगी जी की सरकार होगी, एक किसी मिनिस्टर पर, एक किसी मुख्यमंत्री पर या प्रधानमंत्री पर कोई दाग लगा क्या? भ्रष्टाचार से हम लोग बाहर आ रहे हैं ना। एक दिन में समस्या का समाधान नहीं हो जाता है, पर हमारा प्रयास ईमानदारी से और प्रयास की तरफ, हम सफल होने की तरफ तेजी के साथ बढ़ रहे हैं।
Okay, last word from Sharad Pradhan. Sir, 7 years of Yogi Adityanath, what is there as part of his legacy? Because, sometimes I do feel that, as an objective journalist, sometimes, we focus so much on his Hindutva moves, these little things which are reformative in nature, at least the ideas, do get ignored. What do you think is the legacy of Yogi Adityanath, and how should he sort of walk the next 3 years? Because the challenges seem to be huge in front of him.
The trouble is that there is the intent. There is lack of real intent behind this move. It is more simple optics and nothing else. Because if he were actually, I personally believe, as I said, I personally believe that he's an honest chief minister, and UP has got an honest chief minister after many years. I have written this in my book. But the fact of the matter is that I was wrong in judging him. Because today, if he were actually interested in rooting out corruption, the first step could have been in Ayodhya. 34,000 crores were spent on development of Ayodhya in various ways. And you have seen, the whole world has seen, how the railway station was, the temple itself has been dripping. Every rain and the railway station was flooded. This road, on the very first rain, the main road on which some 32 crores were spent is completely battered. What does it mean? What more evidence do you need? It is very obvious that people engaged in carrying out these jobs have been thoroughly corrupt, and there have been tons of kickbacks. Earlier there was land, but not a single probe has been ordered by the chief minister. What more do you expect? If they don't if they don't wake up from their slumber when money is being pilfered in Ayodhya, on the strength of which they are riding to power.
But Mr. Pradhan, the fact that he is a chief minister who does not have personal corruption charges, because we have seen other states where chief ministers who were seen as erstwhile completely non-corrupt are also facing such charges. For Yogi Adityanath to not really have any charge for the last 7 years, isn't that also an important thing?
How do you say that there are no charges? People are accusing him. You ask the opposition, obviously the ruling party will not accuse him. But when a deputy chief minister, now in this case, a deputy chief minister is accusing the government, obviously he is not naming the chief minister, but he is calling the government thoroughly corrupt. He is saying, two MLAs are saying that we have not seen so much corruption anywhere in the country. So what does it mean? It is their own people. It is not every government. The problem with us is that every government which comes, they claim that they are very clean, the others are rogues.
Okay.
And they are all sailing in the same boat. And I am saying this on the strength of the fact that I was the one who or this
Right.
Akhand Pratap Singh that the BJP spokesman was mentioning, I was the one who filed a PIL against him in the Supreme Court and he was knocked off.
Right.
And he went to jail. There
Right.
was another appointee of the Samajwadi Party against whom I filed the PIL.
Right.
So I believe in objectivity. Like you, I just don't believe in having biases.
Absolutely,
But the fact
sir.
of the matter is that this government is showing no sincere concern against corruption.
Okay. Point
It's
taken,
only
sir.
publicity.
I'm
And
really
because they
short
spend
of
so much
time.
in the
Thank you
publicity.
so much, Mr. Sharad Pradhan. Thank you so much, Rajesh ji, and thank you, Ghanshyam Tiwari, for joining us on this broadcast. Call it a cleanup or a political move, but it is something that will definitely have consequences. The decision by the UP government. That's all we have for you in this bulletin. More news and updates on the other side.